Hey, it's Michael Mansell, and I had a big dilemma when I was first using my Mavic Pro, and that is the fact that the Mavic Pro remote has no HDMI output. Now, one of the things that I really loved and used quite often with my Inspire 1 Pro that I still use occasionally, but I love the flying capabilities of the Mavic Pro and how portable it is so much better, is using these very cool Vufine heads-up display. Essentially, it puts a little monitor right there in front of my eye, and this allowed me to keep my first person line of sight view all the time looking directly at the drone, but also allowed me to see what the camera was seeing and all of my heads-up display inside of this little Vufine. I've got a link in the description below where you can order these. Really inexpensive, really a neat little device that allows you to essentially put a little tiny screen right there in front of your eye, and it looks kind of like a Google Glass or any other type of heads-up display out there. Really basic, but it does the job because it does put a little screen there and you can look and see your surroundings while still viewing the screen. So I did tons of YouTube searches and there was no real solution out there, so I thought I would come up with a solution, and I did. The solution, what I first thought was I would try out a USB to HDMI adapter, which I didn't think would work, but I figured I'd give it a shot, and I was right. I mean, these require drivers and other things. So this being plugged directly into the Mavic controller, outputting to HDMI just did not work, because the issue is the input for this was a micro HDMI port. That's the only way I could get a feed into these Vufine glasses, is through that HDMI cable. So this is the solution I came up with, and it does actually work, and that is to use the bottom USB port down here on the Mavic controller and connect it directly up to a tablet rather than a phone. And the reason is because this tablet, believe it or not, has an HDMI output, and hopefully you guys can see that right there. So there is an HDMI output, and it is a mini one. So I have a mini HDMI to micro HDMI cable here, and so what I've done, and as you can see, I also got this adapter right here, which very conveniently will secure directly into, oops, I just started recording inadvertently, so let's stop that, which fits right here into there. So this allows me to use the tablet. It is a little bulky, but they don't make any Android phones that I found with an HDMI output. So this is the smallest form factor of tablet, really inexpensive. This tablet I got on Amazon for 129 bucks, a decent 10-inch tablet. And again, I'll put the links of all these pieces and components that I got after doing all of my research and where I got them down in the description below, so check those out. So this allowed me to have the tablet directly on there, and then from here all I had to do is plug my HDMI cable into the tablet, and then from into the tablet to my HDMI port there. So if we turn this on, actually I'm going to take it off of here just to make it easier. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to see this in the camera. You can see now I'm feeding the camera, including all of the data from the tablet, which is originating from the Mavic controller, right to my heads-up display. And that is how I have been able to get HDMI out. And of course, this is my application with this really cool Vufine for heads-up display while I'm flying. But this can be utilized for any type of HDMI. I mean, one of the big drawbacks right now is there is no easy solution to getting HDMI out of your Mavic controller, but this is a workaround. You feed the output from the controller into the tablet, and from the tablet app back out through the HDMI out port on this tablet. And this will work with any tablet that has HDMI out. A more expensive solution would be the NVIDIA Shield, I believe, has an HDMI out port, and there might be some of the other tablets. This was just a cheap solution because I wanted to test the concept of that. And of course, let me see if I'll put this way so you guys can see that it is indeed just a mirror of this. If I put the camera down, you'll see that it is indeed showing it right there on my heads-up display as well. If I go into any of my settings, I'm able to see, and again, it's really difficult to try to get you guys to see, but when this is up against your eye, it literally just looks like there's a little screen out there in front of your face so that I can keep track of my drone in the air while I'm flying. A nice little alternative to the Google Goggles that are going to be shipping later this month. That's obviously going to be a cool experience, but the big drawback with the Google Goggles is the fact that you can't see your surroundings, and they actually tell you do not fly the drone while you're using the goggles. They want you to have another person flying the drone instead of yourself. So in any case, another option rather than holding the tablet is you could get something like this, which I'll link down below as well, which is a nice tripod mount tablet holder, and that would allow you to then not actually be holding on to the tablet, but you could use a nice long micro USB cable to the tablet and have that just sitting on a tripod next to where you're flying and standing. That would be a much more comfortable option. Or you get a device like this, again really cheap, I think it was like 16 bucks on Amazon, which allows you to have any tablet mounted directly into the controller itself, which is really creative as well. So take a look at those as well. So hopefully this will help somebody out there who was stuck on this. Just for reference, this is the tablet that I found that was did have the HDMI port, which was key. Very difficult to find a tablet that has an HDMI out port, but you can find them for around $100 to $150 on Amazon. And again, I'll link all these down in the description below. Give me a like or a comment below, or both. Let me know what you guys think of this solution.